One day, a very long time ago, two friends met by chance in a market square. One was golden-haired Hermia, the other black-haired Helena.
The two friends hugged, and for a while they chatted to each other about this and that. Then Helena noticed a look in Hermia's deep blue eyes. "Are you all right, Hermia?" she asked. Hermia looked so serious. "I am supposed to be marrying Demetrius tomorrow," she replied. "Demetrius?" exclaimed Helena. Now she felt sadder than ever. Night after night she had cried herself to sleep. You see, she loved Demetrius, but she knew that her love for him was hopeless. Many years ago, the parents of Hermia and Demetrius had agreed that one day their children should get married. And Helena was so envious because she would have loved to marry Demetrius herself. "You must be so happy," sighed Helena. "I've never been so unhappy in my life," said Hermia. "I don't love Demetrius at all." "Don't you?" cried Helena, astonished. "No, I'm in love with Lysander," exclaimed Hermia, and she began to cry. Helena thought about their friend Lysander, with his curly brown hair and bright smile. She supposed that he was quite attractive, but she couldn't understand at all why Hermia would prefer him to dark and handsome Demetrius. "I've told my father that I don't want to marry Demetrius," Hermia continued. "But Demetrius is so stubborn. He got so cross and said it didn't matter whether we loved each other or not. Our wedding had already been arranged, so it was going ahead no matter what. And it's so silly because he doesn't love me either." "Who does he love?" asked Helena eagerly. "Only himself," said Hermia, "and I just can't marry him. So I'm going to run away with Lysander. I'm meeting him at midnight tonight in the wood outside the city walls. We will travel through the night, and in the morning we will find somewhere to get married. Please say that you're happy for me, Helena." "I'm so happy," said Helena. And she was happy, because she realized that now might be her chance to get Demetrius for herself. "I'll tell Demetrius exactly what Hermia is planning to do," she thought. "And then when I tell him how I feel about him, he'll be so happy that he'll fall in love with me." But love doesn't always work out the way we expect, and Helena was about to find this out for herself. Meanwhile, in the forest outside the city, Oberon, the king of the fairies, and his wife, Queen Titania, were having a fight. Titania had taken a little orphan boy to look after, and she was making such a fuss of him that Oberon was feeling very jealous. The two of them had said some horrible things to each other, and both of them were getting very cross. "You say I have no reason to be jealous," said Oberon. "Well then, Titania, prove it." In reply, Titania raised her hand and sent a ball of blue fire flying straight towards Oberon's head. Oberon said a magic word, and the fire turned to water that burst over him, soaking his clothes. By the time he had rubbed the water out of his eyes, Titania had vanished. "I'll make you sorry for this, Titania," he vowed. Then he lifted his dripping head and called out, "Puck, where are you? Come to me now." The sound of wind and rustling branches filled the air as an elf dropped out of a tree and landed at Oberon's feet. The elf was dressed in leaves that had been sewn together, his hair was tangled, and he had a mischievous smile. This was Puck. "Command me, master," said Puck.
"I want to teach the queen a lesson," said Oberon. "Go into the wood and find me a flower called Love in Idleness."
"I will fly faster than a falling star," said Puck, and swiftly disappeared.
Oberon smiled cruelly to himself. "When Titania is asleep, I will drop the juice of the flower into her eyes," he said to himself. "Its magic will make her fall in love with the first living thing she sees when she wakes up. And who knows what that will be? Perhaps a toad, or maybe a spider. She will make such a fool of herself that she will beg me to break the spell. That will show her." The plan delighted him so much that he began to laugh. But he quickly stopped laughing when he heard a human voice approaching. With a wave of his fingers, he disappeared among the shadows. The voice belonged to Helena, who was chasing Demetrius through the forest.
"Wait for me, Demetrius!"
she yelped. Demetrius was searching for Hermia, and he waved Helena away as though she were an irritating fly. "For the last time, Helena, leave me alone," he shouted. "I can find Lysander and Hermia without you."
"But I love you," shouted Helena. "I've always loved you."
She tried to put her arms around Demetrius, but he wriggled out of her grasp. "Well, I don't love you," he snarled, "so please, buzz off."
"Oh, Demetrius,"
sobbed Helena, still running after him.
"I would do anything for you."
Once the forest was quiet once again, Oberon reappeared, looking thoughtful. "I must help that lovely girl," he whispered. "I know how hard it is to love someone with a cold heart." A wind rustled in the leaves, and there stood Puck again, holding some white flowers. "Take 2 blossoms and search the woods for a young human couple," said Oberon. "When you are sure that the maiden will be the first thing he sees, squeeze the juice of the petals into the young man's eyes." "Of course, master," said Puck, and with a bow he was gone. Then Oberon went to find Titania. She was sleeping alone on a bank of violets. As he dropped juice from the magic flowers onto her eyelids, Oberon whispered, "What you see when you awake will be the love you take." At that same moment, in another part of the forest, Puck was squeezing magic juice into the eyes of a young man he had found sleeping next to a young woman. "When he wakes and sees her, he will fall madly in love with her," Puck giggled, then bounded away. But bad luck, he had found the wrong couple. The people sleeping under the tree were not Demetrius and Helena, but Lysander and Hermia, who had got lost in the wood. And even worse luck, a few seconds after Puck left them, Helena wandered by, searching for Demetrius, and tripped over Lysander's legs. He woke up, saw her, and his mouth dropped open as the magic began to work. Lysander, gasped Helena. What are you doing here? You need to run away quickly. Demetrius is looking for you, and he is so furious with you. She trailed off mid-sentence. Why are you staring at me like that? She asked. Because at last I have found my one true love, said Lysander. Helena, I adore you. Helena laughed nervously. Don't be silly, Lysander, she said. You love Hermia, don't you? Hermia? Of course not, scoffed Lysander. I could never love anyone but you, with your eyes like stars and your hair as black as ravens' wings. Come into my arms and cool the fires of my passion with your kisses. He moved towards Helena, but she turned and ran away. Lysander followed her, shouting, There's no escape from love, Helena. This is meant to be. Their voices woke Hermia, who muttered, Lysander, where are you? Don't wander off on your own, my love. You might be eaten by a lion or a bear. The thought of this made her sit bolt upright. I'm coming to find you, Lysander, she called. Meanwhile, a few paces from where Titania lay sleeping, a group of actors had met to practice a show that they were going to be performing that evening. One of the actors, a weaver named Bottom, was just about to make his entry. I'll show them how it's done, he said. But as he prepared to walk out from behind the tree, he glanced up and saw a strange orange light. Now, what could that be? He muttered. A firefly, perhaps. It was Puck, who had noticed the actors on his way back to Oberon and decided to make some mischief. Behold the Queen's new love, he said, showering magic sparks onto the weaver. Immediately, Bottom's face began to sprout hair, and his nose and ears grew longer and longer. His body, however, did not change, so Bottom had no idea that anything was wrong, until he stepped out from behind a tree. As soon as the other actors saw the donkey-headed monster, they turned and raced away, screaming. What could be the matter with them? Said Bottom, scratching his chin. Golly, my beard has grown quickly today. I'll need a good shave before the show tomorrow. He wandered round, trying to figure out why his friends had run away. Oh, he said. They're trying to frighten me. Well, it won't work. It's not easy to frighten someone as brave as... His voice, part human, part donkey,
woke Queen Titania from her sleep.
"Is that an angel I can hear?" she said. Raising herself up, she gazed at Bottom. "Divine human, I have fallen madly in love with you," she said.
"Really?" said Bottom.
"Sit beside me so I can stroke your long, silky ear," Titania murmured. "My servants will bring you anything you want."
"Well, I wouldn't mind a bit of dinner," said Bottom. "Nothing too posh. A bit of hay or a bag of oats would do nicely."
From high up came the sound of Puck's laughter ringing in the wind.
But Oberon's laughter was even louder. "My proud queen, in love with a donkey," he cried in delight. "Good work, Puck. That will teach Titania a lesson. But what about the humans?"
"I did as you commanded, master," said Puck.
Just then a sound made him turn his head. It was Demetrius marching along the path, dragging Hermia by the arm. "That is the gentleman," said Oberon. "But who is the lady with him?"
"He's not the one I cast the spell on?" cried Puck.
"Quickly," said Oberon. "Let's disappear before they see us." Hermia was very unhappy. Everything had gone wrong. Instead of Lysander, she had found Demetrius, who is in such a terrible fury that she felt quite afraid. "Where is Lysander?" she yelled. "You've killed him, haven't you?" "I haven't touched your precious Lysander," shouted Demetrius. "Now stop complaining and let's go to sleep. In the morning we'll find our way out of this wood." He lay back and closed his eyes. He heard Hermia walking away. Then he fell asleep. "This is the man," said Oberon, reappearing. "Search the wood for a black-haired lady and bring her here. Then I will put magic juice in his eyes and wake him."
"Yes, master,"
said Puck. Helena was still running with Lysander just a few steps behind her when an orange light appeared on the path in front of her. Fascinated, she started to follow it. The light led her over streams and through clearings until at last it came to a stop by a thicket of ferns. "Marry me, Helena!" shouted Lysander behind her. "I don't want to," she shouted back. "I want Demetrius." "And here I am, my love," said Demetrius, leaping out of the ferns nearby, his eyes ablaze with a strange glow. Helena did not stop to think why Demetrius had changed his mind. She was overjoyed, and she was about to rush into his arms when Lysander threw himself between them.
"Keep your filthy paws off her, Demetrius," he said furiously. "Helena is mine."
"Lysander, is that you?" called a voice, and Hermia came crashing out of the bushes, her hair covered in leaves and twigs. "Oh, you're safe, thank goodness. Why did you leave, my darling?"
"Because I can't stand being near you," said Lysander. "I want to marry Helena." "But I want to marry Helena," yelled Demetrius, "and she can't marry us both, or have to settle this between us." And with that he shoved Lysander in the chest. Lysander responded by punching him on the nose. As for Hermia, she practically had smoke coming out of her nostrils. Hermia glared at Helena. "You witch! How dare you steal my Lysander?" "But I haven't," Helena replied. "This is all part of a trick, isn't it? You've all plotted together to make a fool of me. Well, thank you very much. And there was me thinking that you were my friend." "How could I be friends with anyone who steals what's mine?" snarled Hermia. Oh dear. Things were looking very bad indeed. So it's lucky that Oberon chose that moment to cast a sleeping spell on all four of them. They all dropped to the ground, Hermia falling close to Lysander and Helena close to Demetrius. Oberon quickly smeared fairy juice in their eyes. "This knot of lovers will unravel when they awake," he said. Suddenly, the air was filled with the sound of fairy voices. "Quick," said Puck, "the Queen is coming." And in a flash they were gone. Titania did not notice the sleeping lovers. She was too preoccupied with Bottom, whose jaws were open in a huge yawn. "Are you tired, my love?" she asked him. "Lie with me on this soft grass." "As a matter of fact, I do feel quite said Bottom. So they lay down and went to sleep. Oberon crept up to his sleeping wife and gazed sorrowfully at her. "If only Titania would smile at me as she does at that wretched creature. How I would love to feel her soft arms around me as I sleep. Puck, It is time to break the spell on the human. I will deal with the queen." Oberon raised his hands and chanted, "Be the way you used to be. See the way you used to see. Wake, my queen, and come to me." Titania opened her eyes, and when she saw Oberon, she flung her arms around him. "I am so glad to see you, my love," she said. "I had such a strange dream. I dreamt that I had fallen in love with a—" "Don't worry about it," said Oberon. "The most important thing is that we are together. Let's never fight again." Puck appeared at his side. "It's getting light, master," he warned. "Then let's go," said Oberon, and he, Titania, and Puck faded into the shimmering morning light. As the dawn broke, it woke Demetrius and Helena, who fell in love instantly. Then Lysander and Hermia, who fell in love all over again. They smiled, sighed, and kissed each other. Then Demetrius said, "Come, my friends, let us all get married in the same ceremony." So, hand in hand, the two couples ran off together, laughing all the way. As for Bottom, that wretched creature, he woke some time later and stumbled to his feet. "I thought I was," he muttered. "I thought I had." And he nervously felt his face and ears, then sighed with relief. "What a strange Midsummer Night's Dream," he said. "I'll write a poem about it, then read it to the Duke, and he will say, 'Well done, noble Bottom.' Yes, that's how it will be."
Then he stumbled away through the forest, making up lines of poetry and congratulating himself as he walked.
everyone, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of the same, then feel free to click like on this video and hit subscribe on our channel. Thanks, and I'll see you another time.